Hi everyone, I'm Katie, an infant toddler Montessori teacher and registered early childhood educator. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 Montessori-inspired fall activities for toddlers and preschoolers. The activities that I'm going to share with you today are hands down the most popular fall-themed activities that I would do in the classroom, and I would do them every year for this reason. No matter what group of children was coming in, they all really seemed to respond really well to these activities, and I hope that you have the same experience with your children. Activity number 1 is raking and bagging leaves. So raking is a fantastic activity for young children because it involves so much movement. For some children, they could also use maximum effort while they're doing it. They're using their entire bodies, they're working really hard, they're focusing, and they're concentrating to rake all of these leaves into a pile. So we would do this all the time in the classroom in our outdoor space, and the children really enjoyed it. So what you need is a child-sized rake. The adult-sized rakes are just going to be too big for them to manage, so the size of the tool is really important. Provide them with a child-sized rake, show them how to rake the leaves and where you would like them to rake the leaves to, whether that be into a pile or into a pile and then pick them up and put them into a bag. Children can learn so much just by simply exploring and interacting with leaves. If you think about it, the leaves make a noise, they have different colors, they change colors, they have a certain smell. So this is a really great activity for young children because, as Dr. Montessori observed, they are sensorial explorers. So this is really going to appeal to them in that way. And if you're okay with it, something that I really encourage you to do is to invite the child to jump in the piles of leaves. This is a really great gross motor activity. It's super fun, and you can always rake the leaves up again afterwards. Activity number 2 is creating a nature tray. So what you want to do is the next time that you're out on a walk with your child, bring a little basket or a bag with you and invite them to collect little treasures along their way. So take your time on the walk and point out certain things that are really interesting, whether it be a rock, whether it be a twig, whether it be a leaf. Really follow their lead and see what their eye catches and what they're interested in. And once you get home, you can go through all of their collected treasures and name them, put them on a tray, maybe even add a magnifying glass for them to further explore the colors and patterns that are found in nature. I mean, a nature tray is so rich with learning opportunities. Like I said, you're going to help to develop their language skills. You're going to talk about colors. You could use it for sorting. You could use it for counting. The possibilities really are endless. Nature trays aren't just something that we had in the classroom during the fall months either. We had one going all year round because the children enjoyed it so much and would constantly be adding to it. So a nature tray is a super fun, super easy fall themed activity that you can do at home. And then finally, activity number 3 is going to be a list of activities, but basically we're exploring pumpkins. I don't know about in your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood in the fall months, there is an abundance of pumpkins. So it's a really great and meaningful activity to do with the children because they see them so often in the fall months. When first introducing pumpkins into the classroom, what we would do is we would start by washing them. So you can do this with a small pumpkin, you can do this on a larger scale with a big pumpkin, you can do this inside, you can do this outside, whatever works for you. All you need is some soapy water and a sponge, and show the children, invite the child to clean the pumpkin. Pumpkins tend to be quite dirty because they're coming directly from the pumpkin patch. So this is a really great activity because they can see the pumpkins going from dirty to clean. I found that even after the pumpkins were clean, the children still enjoyed cleaning them. So it's another great activity for following the child's lead. And once the pumpkins were clean, we would use the pumpkins for shelf work. So what we would do is we would take a smaller pumpkin, put it on a tray, with a little basket of markers, and we would invite the children to draw on the pumpkins. We would then have a little damp cloth on the tray as well for them to then clean off the marker once they were finished and start again. It's sort of like a pumpkin dry erase board because the marker never really dries. So it's a really fun and simple activity you could do. You could also do it with paint. Obviously with paint, you're not going to be able to wash it off as easily. It's going to make a bit of a bigger mess, probably something you might want to do outside, but you could also use paint. Before we carved the pumpkin, we had to empty out the contents of the pumpkin. So this was really neat because I would cut the top off. Some of the children would explore that part of the pumpkin, while other children were really interested in the contents of the pumpkin. They would get their hands in there, they would feel the pulp and the seeds. It's really like a nature-made sensory bin for them. Now I will say that not every child was interested in touching the pulp and the seeds because it is quite slimy, but there were children that were really interested. So follow their lead and respect their decision if they decide that they don't want to touch it. You can just hand them a big spoon and they can dig out the pulp and everything with a spoon rather than their hands. I would recommend having a large bowl right next to the pumpkin so that they have something to scoop the contents into. And then finally, you can carve the pumpkins. I loved carving a pumpkin with the children because, like I've said throughout this video a few times, there's just so much learning involved. Before we even sat down to cut the pumpkin, we would talk about what we were going to make the pumpkin's face look like. Is the pumpkin going to be happy? Is the pumpkin going to be sad? Is the pumpkin going to be angry? What shapes should we make the pumpkin's eyes and nose and mouth, and so on. So much language development, so much shape recognition, so much emotional awareness. So many conversations happened just by simply carving a pumpkin. So obviously for safety reasons, I was the one carving the pumpkin. The children were sitting back as we were carving out the face and everything else. You know, make sure there's a lot of space while you're carving because you're going to be using a sharp knife. You do not need to allow the child to do that part. That can just be a firm no for safety, but they can definitely participate in the decision making of how the pumpkin is going to look. If you're looking for more ideas, we do have a blog post called 12 Fall Montessori Activities that goes into more detail on some of the activities I talked about and gives you some additional ideas. I will link to that in the description below. And on our website, you will also find some printables in the free printables section. So we have a leaf scavenger hunt. This is a really great thing to do on a neighborhood walk. And we also have some dot printables that are fall themed, and you'll find some more activities there too. All right, I hope that you found today's video helpful. Enjoy exploring the outdoors in the season of fall, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, it really helps our channel if you like and subscribe. This helps other parents to find our channel. And if you have a question, feel free to comment your question below and we'll answer it in a future video. Take care. Bye.